Welcome to today's video where we'll uncover 6 time-tested grandma home hacks you probably never knew you needed. These clever tricks have been passed down through generations and perfected over time, helping you save money, reduce waste, and keep your home running smoothly. We've scoured old family traditions and modern internet resources to bring you the latest twists on these beloved classics, making them more relevant and easier to implement than ever. Get ready to learn some surprising ideas that might just revolutionize your daily routine. Number 1. Eggshell Nutrient Booster. Eggshells have been a staple in frugal kitchens for centuries, and it's no wonder many grandmothers taught their families never to throw them away. Once they're rinsed and fully dried, shells can be ground into a fine powder and sprinkled around the base of potted plants or blended into outdoor garden soil. This simple technique adds calcium, which helps strengthen plant cell walls and supports the overall vitality of many varieties, from tomatoes and peppers to indoor succulents. Some people prefer to crush shells by hand, while others pulse them in a blender for a finer texture that breaks down faster in the soil. The idea is that natural calcium enrichment can help prevent issues like blossom end rot in tomatoes, which often arises from calcium deficiency. Many older gardeners also noted that lightly scattering crushed eggshells around plants could deter certain pests, such as slugs, though scientific backing varies. Nonetheless, anecdotal evidence suggests the jagged edges may make it uncomfortable for soft-bodied critters to crawl across. Another approach involves placing a small handful of broken shells in the bottom of a planting hole before setting in seedlings, letting the nutrients leach into the root zone over time. This can be especially beneficial for heavy-feeding plants that crave minerals. In addition to practical use, there's an appealing sustainability factor, reusing a byproduct that might otherwise be tossed in the trash. Grandmothers often emphasize thrift, and converting kitchen scraps into a soil amendment exemplifies their resourceful thinking. If you worry about contamination, bake shells at a low temperature, around 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees Celsius, for 10 minutes to kill potential bacteria before crushing. Some enthusiasts store dried shells in a sealed container until they have enough to process into a larger batch of powder. This practice ties into a broader pattern of using everyday leftovers, like vegetable peels or coffee grounds, to nourish the garden without the need for expensive fertilizers. Another reason this hack remains popular is its low entry cost and easy routine. You don't need specialized equipment beyond a baking tray and perhaps a food processor, making it accessible to nearly anyone looking to improve their gardening results. Eggshell supplementation also aligns with a larger kitchen-to-compost movement, where each little scrap finds a second life in the garden. Generations of thrifty families have proven that small, incremental efforts like these can significantly enhance the quality and yield of homegrown produce, reinforcing the idea that grandma's wisdom often aligns with modern, eco-friendly practices. Number 2. Coffee grounds for garden and beyond. Coffee grounds aren't just leftover waste for the bin. Many grandmothers recognized their value long before upcycling became a buzzword. High in nitrogen, coffee remnants can bolster compost piles or be spread thinly over garden beds, feeding nutrient-hungry plants. The mild acidity can benefit acid-loving species like azaleas, rhododendrons, and certain berries. Meanwhile, the texture of dried grounds can improve soil aeration, helping roots access oxygen. It's not just about nutrients, though. Some individuals believe coffee grounds can deter slugs, snails, and even certain types of insects, as the abrasive texture and caffeine residue may be unpleasant for these pests. Opinions vary on whether direct application around plants is always beneficial. So many older gardeners prefer to incorporate small amounts gradually or compost the grounds first. Beyond gardening, coffee grounds can be used in other corners of home life. One old-fashioned trick is to place a dish of dry grounds in the refrigerator or freezer to absorb lingering food odors. Much like baking soda, coffee has natural deodorizing properties, making it a budget-friendly way to freshen enclosed spaces. Grandmothers who grew up before the age of fancy store-bought fridge deodorizers often knew this secret. Some crafters even blend used grounds with a bit of natural oil to create a gentle exfoliating scrub, capitalizing on the gritty texture without resorting to plastic microbeds. The possibilities don't stop there. A pinch of coffee grounds on a dish sponge can help scour stubborn pots and pans, tackling grease spots more effectively. In the context of frugal living, repurposing coffee grounds means getting every drop of value from a daily staple. Many folks who brew coffee at home generate grounds on a consistent basis, so having a variety of uses lined up is both eco-friendly and practical. If you accumulate more grounds than your garden needs, consider sharing them with neighbors, local community gardens, or composting collectives. A key point to remember is moderation. Sprinkling too many grounds too quickly might overwhelm certain plants or create a water-repelling layer on top of the soil. The best approach is to treat coffee grounds as a supplement or gentle boost, not a complete fertilizer replacement. By doing so, you'll tap into the quiet power of a hidden resource that past generations understood well. While modern guides sometimes focus on stylish or complicated solutions, Grandma's practice of recycling coffee grounds underscores an uncomplicated yet effective principle: let no useful item go to waste. Number 3, bread for collecting shards and freshening staples. Bread might seem like a basic pantry item, but grandmothers through the ages have revealed its surprising uses beyond sandwiches. One of the lesser-known hacks is using a soft slice of bread to pick up tiny shards of broken glass that the broom might miss. Pressing the bread gently over the affected area can trap even microscopic pieces, reducing the risk of accidental cuts. This method offers a quick solution for sudden kitchen mishaps. Simply discard the bread slice afterward. Another classic trick involves placing a piece of bread in a container of hardened brown sugar to reintroduce moisture. Over time, the sugar crystals soften, making the sweetener easier to measure or sprinkle. This technique works because bread naturally holds a certain level of moisture, which transfers to the sugar without drastically changing its flavor. A fresh slice is preferred over stale bread for better results. You can also consider adding half an apple for a similar effect, though bread is more common in Grandma's repertoire. The bread hack extends to storing baked goods. A slice placed with homemade cookies in an airtight container can help them stay soft longer, preventing them from turning rock hard. People who love a chewy texture often find that this trick helps preserve the quality of treats without resorting to extra preservatives. Moving beyond the kitchen, some folks harness bread's absorbent nature to remove unwanted smells. For instance, if you've accidentally overcooked something in the oven, place a few slices of bread in a dish, fill it with vinegar or lemon juice, then set it inside the cooled oven to help soak up persistent odors. Frugal families love these bread-based hacks because they transform a universally available staple into a multi-purpose problem solver. The art of stretching a loaf to its full potential was second nature to past generations, especially in times when every scrap of food needed to be utilized effectively. While modern convenience items can replace many of these methods, there's something satisfying about a time-tested remedy that requires almost no cost or specialized equipment. It's also a gentle reminder of how resourcefulness can thrive in the most unassuming aspects of daily life. Whether gathering glass shards or revitalizing hardened sugar, a single slice of bread can serve as a quiet hero in your household, embodying the spirit of Grandma's versatile ingenuity. Number 4. Cornstarch for cleaning and freshening. Cornstarch is often associated with cooking and thickening sauces, yet grandmothers recognized its broader potential long ago. For instance, it can serve as a gentle cleaner for delicate fabrics. Sprinkling cornstarch on a grease-stained shirt or tablecloth can help absorb oils before they set, making subsequent laundering far easier. The powder's fine particles trap and lift grease when gently brushed off, reducing the need for harsh chemical stain removers. This trick also extends to using cornstarch on upholstered furniture or carpets. Simply dust it onto an oily stain, wait a few minutes, then vacuum thoroughly. A second lesser-known use involves polishing windows or mirrors. When combined with vinegar and water in a spray bottle, cornstarch can create a streak-free shine, thanks to its slightly abrasive texture. Many older households took advantage of this method as a cost-effective alternative to commercial glass cleaners. It's an especially attractive option if you're sensitive to the fragrances in store-bought products. Moving to personal care, some individuals use cornstarch as a dry shampoo alternative in a pinch. When applied sparingly to the roots of the hair, it can help soak up excess oil, though it's essential to brush it out completely to avoid a chalky appearance. This hack works best for lighter hair shades. People with darker tones might mix a tiny bit of cocoa powder to avoid a white cast. Another cornstarch-based approach, alleviating minor skin irritations. A quick dusting under arms or around sweaty areas can reduce friction and chafing. Many grandmothers use this practice for babies to help keep diaper rash at bay, though modern guidelines may vary, so checking current pediatric advice is always wise. Cornstarch also finds a home in small craft projects. For example, you can create homemade modeling clay by cooking cornstarch with baking soda and water, a tip many older caretakers use to keep kids entertained cheaply. The resulting clay can be molded, baked, and painted, an activity that fosters creativity while using simple pantry items. All these uses highlight the broader philosophy of frugality. A single, inexpensive product can solve multiple household challenges, reducing reliance on specialized cleaners or products loaded with chemicals. Rather than purchasing an array of single-purpose items, the older generations often tapped into the versatile attributes of basics, like cornstarch, to handle everything from stubborn stains to childhood play. This approach mirrors a resourceful mindset that valued adaptability, making cornstarch a staple in Grandma's arsenal of everyday solutions. It underscores how a seemingly humble kitchen ingredient can become a go-to ally for both household maintenance and personal care.
Number 5. Milk for polishing silver and more. Milk might be an everyday beverage, but grandmothers recognize several unconventional ways to use it, especially when it goes sour. One remarkable trick is to restore the shine of tarnished silverware using soured milk. The lactic acid in older milk can help dissolve the tarnish, revealing a cleaner surface. To try this, place your silver items in a dish or basin, pour enough sour milk to cover them, and let them soak for around 30 minutes. Gently rub any lingering stains with a soft cloth, then rinse and dry thoroughly. This method works similarly to more conventional silver dips, but it's a gentle approach that reuses a product that might otherwise be poured down the drain. Beyond silver polishing, milk can also serve as a base for various homemade beauty treatments. For example, some older traditions suggest soaking dry hands or feet in a basin of warm milk, mixed with a little honey to moisturize rough skin. Though not a modern medical treatment, the combination of fats and lactic acid can leave skin feeling smoother. Another thrifty practice from the past involves using leftover milk to water certain acid-loving plants, although caution is necessary. Too much can lead to unpleasant odors or mold. Diluting it with water and applying sparingly ensures any nutrients, like calcium, are shared without overpowering the plant's root system. The same principle of moderation applies if you're adding milk to a compost pile. In smaller amounts, it may help feed beneficial microbes, but large quantities could create an imbalance. While these uses might seem unconventional by today's standards, they embody the thinking that nothing should be wasted if it can serve a practical purpose. Before chemical polishes and moisturizers became widely available, families had to rely on what they had, leading to a wealth of creative applications for everyday items. If you're uncertain about soaking valuable or heirloom silver in sour milk, you might test a small piece first. It's also wise to consult any specific care instructions for high-end pieces. Still, many people with older, more tarnished silverware appreciate this mild technique, particularly if they're wary of commercial cleaning agents. Whether you're dealing with tarnished spoons or hoping to soften cracked heels, these milk-based hacks champion resourcefulness and a back-to-basics approach that respects traditional wisdom. Although modern conveniences are readily available, there's a unique satisfaction in knowing you can revive dull silver or treat parched skin using time-tested household methods, just as countless grandmothers did before. Number 6. Onion for household refresh and more. Onions, a cornerstone of countless recipes, can also serve surprising functions well beyond the kitchen stove. One notable trick involves harnessing the pungent odor of onions to neutralize certain undesirable smells in rooms or enclosed spaces. The strong sulfur compounds in onions absorb and mask odors like paint fumes or musty scents. Slice an onion in half, place each half on a small dish, and leave it in the room overnight. By morning, many people report a noticeable reduction in lingering smells. The room may briefly carry an onion fragrance, but that typically fades with proper ventilation. Another lesser-known hack involves cutting an onion in half and rubbing it on a cooled grill grate before cooking. Grandmothers discovered that the onion's natural juices help loosen residue and prepare the surface, reducing the need for excessive scrubbing. Some folks go a step further by using a fork to hold the onion half, rubbing it along the ridges to dislodge stuck-on bits from previous barbecues. Once finished, wipe down the grill with a paper towel, and you're set. If you've ever burned something in a cast iron skillet, an onion can help salvage the pan. Sauté thick onion slices in a bit of oil to lift off some of the char and absorb unpleasant odors. Discard the onions once they've browned and taken on any burnt debris. Then season the pan as usual. In addition to these household uses, onions contain antibacterial properties that historically led grandmothers to try them as a mild first-line approach for minor discomforts. For example, some rubbed a halved onion on insect bites or stings to lessen irritation. While not medically proven for major relief, occasional anecdotal testimony suggests it might reduce swelling briefly. It's crucial to note, though, that any significant reaction or wound warrants professional attention rather than relying on a homemade onion remedy. Beyond their pungent smell, onions offer a bevy of beneficial compounds. Modern research highlights their antioxidants, though most of that discussion focuses on consumption rather than external use. Still, the onion's powerful aroma has clear practical purposes when it comes to neutralizing odors or preparing a grill for a cookout. The multi-purpose nature of onions underscores Grandma's knack for seeing beyond standard uses. Whether they're blocking paint fumes, freshening cast iron, or quieting a persistent smell in a closed-off area, onions remain an affordable, widely available solution. In an age of specialized products for every tiny task, returning to simple staples can be both financially savvy and surprisingly effective. This mindset is woven throughout old-fashioned household routines, proving that everyday pantry items can handle more than their primary duties if you know how to tap into their hidden potential.